Welcome to Around the Board, a show where four board game enthusiasts discuss board game topics and news. We begin today's show with another great game debate featuring Concordia. After which, we stumble into a segment we like to call Top That. Then, a good game or a bad group discussion. And rounding out the show was none other than our new mascot, Board Game Karen. Sorry, Hansa. Here are your hosts, Daniel, Marvel is Life Connors, John, Change the Game Theismann, Chris, I Walk Out to Aeroplane Thomason, and special guest Topher, I'm the baby you gotta love me Hernandez. Now join us around the board.
Hey guys,
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
I think we have.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we have to address the elephant in the room.
Yes.
You're calling me an elephant.
Yeah.
I mean, if the shoe fits. Well, it's more Andy that's the elephant. So our good friend and colleague Andy Barnett, he often thinks he's a 20-year-old college student, and he recently picked up hockey as a side activity.
And now he's in the penalty box.
Yeah, something he hasn't done in 15 years. So we literally had a bet of like over and under how many games would he be injured, and it was 1.5. And can you guess if it was under or over? It was about right. It was 1 game and a half a game, or a practice game where he broke his leg in 3 places. Ooh. So Andy, being in immense amount of pain right now, didn't feel like he should film with us. So we asked our good friend and actually friend of our show. He's actually responsible for a lot of the design that you see around here. He did a lot of the graphic design for us. He also troubleshoots with me the covers. But this is the first time we actually have him, and that is Topher Hernandez. So Topher, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. While I cannot replicate Andy's silky voice, thankfully, I also cannot replicate his terrible taste and opinions.
No,
I agree.
I mean, that is a pretty high bar to pass there.
Yes, it is.
But Topher, tell us what you do in the board game hobby and the board game space, and why are you worthy to be called a board game enthusiast on our show?
I'm definitely a board game enthusiast. I live, breathe, and board games. That's what I spend most of my day doing. I most well known in Kansas City area for organizing our meetup. Got about 8,000 members. We do a couple events every single week. So I'm just here to be ambassador and introduce people to board gaming, and that has led me to love board games so much that I've delusioned myself and started thinking I'm a game designer. So that is going to be the big journey here. I'm probably coming to Kickstarter with my game Rewind in about a year. Super fun game. I'm happy to show it off, and I'll give you a link to follow it, but it is a dopamine hit. It's awesome. It's getting great reviews from the little exposure it's gotten already.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I actually talked to our local friendly game publisher, and he said he liked the game. He said unfortunately it wasn't like for him, but he's like, I'm pretty sure someone's gonna pick up this game. So, I mean, that's high remarks from this guy, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so,
I've thankfully heard from a couple publishers super interested. I just don't want to wait 2 to 3 years either. So let's get this thing out.
I gotta say, Topher, I think it's very bold of you, because doesn't this game involve time travel?
It does.
Yeah, that's those games, man. I'm telling you, they're tough to get off the ground and have them work. But I've heard good things about it. It looks awesome. I've seen pictures of it. So
it's an engine builder. The time travel comes in with a nice thematic ending at the end. You play the game and you find out what actually was the outcome of your journey. It's not so much manipulating timelines and story based. It's really smooth engine and tableau builder.
Okay, cool. So it's based on Loki season 3. Got it.
That's what I heard. Are you gonna get a Marvel?
That's
IP?
a great review.
All right. Well, speaking of Kickstarter games, I think before we get into the show, we do have to address one thing. Last show or 2 shows ago in our board game, Believe It or Not, we actually brought up a game called Envelopes Full of Cash.
Envelopes of Cash, actually.
Envelopes of Cash.
Okay, well, there you go. So, and we all pretty much unanimously said that does not exist. The cover looked bad. The name was not inspired. We were like, what is this? And John told us it did exist. Yep. And not only did it exist, but someone in our game group literally backed this game. And they brought it to our game night on Friday. And John and Chris actually got to play it. So John, Chris, tell us about this fascinating twist of a
Yeah, Chris, you go ahead and go first, bud.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. It was so funny because we talked about on the board game, believe it or not, and we're just like, there's no way. The name itself is just awful.
God.
I watched back and I watched myself say like, okay, there's no way this is real, and if it is, it's the worst name for a game of all time because it doesn't tell you about anything about the game. Like envelopes of cash, I assume money's involved. How many games have money involved, right? Like it don't tell you at all, right? But then when we learned about it, I remember watching it back and I was talking about, oh, that actually sounds interesting about college football and paying players off. It's like, I want to try this out if ever given a chance. And then, yeah, lo and behold, one of the people in our group just somehow magically backed this game, even though it was like a really small, it funded obviously, but like a very small niche crowd thing. And he brought it and we played it. And like John, at least for me, like I thought it was a lot of fun. I had some good luck, sure. So take that for what you believe. But it was just interesting and fun. One of the core mechanics was using the Macau system / Amsterdam, where like you roll some dice and you can take one of the purple this turn, or you can take the 6 orange 6 turns from now, kind of thing. So I've always loved that mechanic of Macau and now Amsterdam, the re-release. But so I was like, sweet about this theme that I like, and I get to play this game and made a big joke, and it's about like Macau, awesome. And so I had a great time, and I know John enjoyed it as well. It was interesting.
Yeah, it is. I don't recommend playing it at 4 players, which is what we did, because the downtime is insane. I was like, hey, I can run home and get another game for you guys, so it's not my turn for 3 turns. but when it is your turn, and I mean, you can plan out your turn and just kind of be waiting. That's the problem. But there's a few other clunky parts to it, but for the most part, it was way better than I expected it to be when I just looked at read the reviews and saw the pictures online. So envelopes of cash, if you get a chance to play it, I'd say go ahead and play it. A little bit mid-weight to heavier than mid-weight Euro type game, and it's economic type game, really, is what it basically is, with what would you call it? Kind of a theme, a dirty theme. You're like paying money for the table to get your high school players to your college, but it could be any theme. But that's the theme it is. But it's worth playing. I'll say that.
Yeah, its 2 biggest flaws is name and box cover. Everything else is aces. True. But the name and box cover are not great. But and ironically, the guy the creator actually hit us up on Facebook about it, and he was like, "Oof, sorry." And we're like, "No, by the way, we played it. It's awesome, dude." And he's like, "Yeah, we had some problems with the cover thing." And we're like, "Well, what's the story?" And I don't know, he never got back to us. Unless he got back to you,
okay.
I didn't see
that's interesting.
No. Unfortunately, he never did. I'm happy to tell the story if he does let us know, though. But
correct, absolutely. Yeah.
For now, we'll just have to guess the crazy things that could have happened. So, well, guys, that's enough of that. We know what the people are really here for, and that's for Topher. I mean, no. They're here to play the game.
Woo. It's time to play the game.
Well, since Andy's not here and he has the soundboard, I just had to kind of sing it myself. So I hope that was good enough. And we won't have the music being overlaid while John reads and tells us what this show is all about. John, tell us.
Well, thank you, Daniel. Here's what this show is all about. Around the Board is all about debating different topics within tabletop gaming in 4 unique segments, each hosted by one of us. A behind-the-scene judge will award points. At the end of the show, the contestant with the most points will give sage advice from their soap throne to all their loyal meeple jacks. Now it's time to play the game.
Round 1, fight.
There you go.
All right, guys. So in round 1, we are going to be looking at the Great Game Debate. The Great Game Debate is where we take a look at a game from the past that the community at large has held up as a top tier game. But do we agree with that? And I'll tell you that at least one person here does not agree with that sentiment. And today, that game we are going to be talking about is Concordia. It's a 2 to 5 player game. Takes about 100 minutes to play. The designer is Matt Gertz. And this is a game of, some would say, a rondelle. I would say a rondelle. You have cards in your hand. You're going to be playing these cards. These cards are going to be allowing you to do actions on the board. You're going to be building buildings. You're going to be generating resources from those buildings, and you're going to continually building up your hand and recruiting more cards. Once you play your card, you have to play a card to pick up all your cards. That's the rondelle part. And then you can play through your actions again. All right. So there we go. That is a quick explanation of how you play Concordia. So Topher, do you want to start it off?
Sure. First, I want to correct you. That was a wrong Dell. There's nothing wrong Dell about what you were just talking about.
Very good. Thank
Absolutely
you.
correct.
Concordia,
We'll agree to disagree.
it is a really good game. It's well designed. The card play is phenomenal. Really well designed. The map stuff, I really don't care about. A little more math than I want. But games are products. They're not just games. It has to be a whole package. And this game is not holding up whatsoever. The production value, the art, it's actively pushing people away. I would love to see something like Lucky Duck is doing with Food Chain Magnet, where they deluxify it, make it look good, make me want to play this game, want to introduce it to people. But right now, I'm happy to play it, but I am not recommending it to anyone.
All right. Well, Topher comes out swinging right away.
Topher, I got a quick question. Food chain magnet, is that something you stick on your fridge?
That's right.
I think it's
with the catch-up
magnate,
mechanism.
And you have to say it with your pinky.
Magnate.
Well.
That's what he means. Okay. Thank you.
Magnate. All right. Well, Topher, we appreciate you being concise and to the point. And obviously, you didn't get the memo that we just ramble. So
I'm all for it. It makes more time for me.
All right. So let me ramble for a little bit here. So Concordia is a game by all metrics I should enjoy. It's a Euro game. It's thinky. It has a lot of things going on. There's this hand management, hand building that's really exciting. Multi-purpose cards, because sometimes the cards will be used for actions, but they're also used for victory points at the end. So you're always making these choices on when you should buy the cards for victory points and when you should buy them to use them in the future. But for whatever reason, this game just does not resonate with me. The best way to summarize how I feel about this game, it's a game that gives me constant FOMO. Not that I'm going to miss this game, but I'm going to miss the actions that I'm going to take in this game. Like, I'm constantly looking at what everyone's doing on this game going, ooh, I want to build right there. And then Chris builds there and I go, dang it. Okay. I gotta look at somebody else. Okay. Well, I'm going to collect a bunch of coins from taking that one action that gives you resources or gives you coins. Oh, but dang it, John just did that and took all the coins. So like I'm always like 2 steps behind in this game. I'm always feeling like I want what that last person just got. And that is not a very satisfying play experience for me. So in the end, I put this game in the same category for me personally, not for Chris, that I put Wingspan in. It's a game I will play. It's a game that I will enjoy, but it's not a game I'm going to go looking and to play over and over again. There's so many games that have came out since Concordia. And like Topher says, it feels the age. It feels a little dated. And I would just like to play almost any other game in this realm if I got to choose. So thanks for going short, Topher, so I could go long.
Exactly. How much longer are you going to go there? Be a politician, buddy. Anyway.
Daniel, have you ever just thought about sat in the mirror and look in the mirror and be like, I just suck at this game? Have you ever thought that?
Exactly.
Because like,
wait, just this game?
It's not gratifying because I'm really bad at it.
Yeah, it could be
not the game's fault.
Hey, like Topher said, in Dan's defense. Yeah, go ahead, Topher.
In Dan's defense, you wind up having a plan done. Someone takes a turn. And then I'm redoing math over and over and over again, trying to figure out, okay, now I need to figure out this. I'm recalculating. There's so much recalculation in math that in theory, when you describe the game and play by the rules, there shouldn't be that much math in there, but you're always recalculating because people are taking your moves.
Exactly. And I don't think it's that they're taking my moves that makes me upset. It's that everybody wants to do the same move. Like, that's what I feel like. Like, I feel like all the choices are what everybody wants to do. So like, if I'm going left, everyone else is going left. There's not room to go right. It's just
okay.
That's
had your say. You're done.
I had my say.
All right. So anyway, you guys, if you've watched the show a lot, you might remember on a random task one time we had, hey, show us the best trading in the Mediterranean game in your collection. And I came up with a war game that featured the Mediterranean Sea because I don't have any trading in the Mediterranean games, because people, when they're trading in the Mediterranean, I don't picture them having so much fun that they're saying, gosh, this should be entertainment. You know what I'm saying? What we're doing right now should be entertainment for somebody. So I've always avoided trading the Mediterranean games. Because of that, I hadn't played Concordia. And then when I finally did play Concordia, I got to tell you, this is a good game. I don't understand what these jokers are saying, because I did go my own way and I was having a blast trying to figure out, oh, which is the best card I can play now? Do I have to pick up yet? Or I can do this, but if he does that, I better do this now, because, and there's so much cool things to think about, but then your turn is quick because you're just playing a card and doing what the card says. So, and doing whatever powers on the card. And then everything about it is so cool, but how you have the cards that you can get that give you actions in your hand, but they're also in-game scoring. Do I want that action? But I've got all these cities. Maybe I should get that one because it's going to, even though I don't want to use it really, it's going to give me a bunch of points in the end. So, and plus I can afford it. I can't afford the other one as well. So I just love all the different choices in it. And it's not a freaking rondel. Everything that you have a choice isn't a rondel. Okay. Everything where you might do the same action twice isn't a rondel. This is, Topher's the expert here. I would call this hand management action selection. That's what I would call this. And I'm starting to figure out that might be one of my favorite. I always thought worker placement was maybe my favorite mechanic. This might be my favorite mechanic, because I don't remember ever playing a game with this that I didn't like. So that, I think my time is up, and so I'm going to go ahead and put it back to the 4 squares. But surprisingly, I like this game.
So what I'm hearing, John, is you really like rondels.
Only my good friend Rondell. That's the only one.
So this is one of those games for me that I have played, and I don't know if I was just like, it was just a bad night, or I just had like just a bad vibe that night or something like that. But I played it and I was just like, I don't know why people think this game is very good. And right now I just looked it up. It's 23rd on BGG. 23. I couldn't believe it.
Can't argue with that.
So I mean, first here soon, challengers will take it over. But
that's true.
But anyways, I couldn't believe it was 23. It blew my mind. So I was like, okay, again, this is what I'm talking about. I feel this is another one of those games that I need to give another couple plays to, and it's going to end up being like Great Western Trail or Brass for me, where I've just heard too many people like it that I respect that say it's a great game. And that's not even the 23. I saw that and blew my mind. But I just personal people that I play with, that I trust their opinions on, they just love this game. So I need to give it another try. Again, when I played it, it just kind of felt flat to me and stuff like that. But I mean, you guys talking about it got me excited about it. What? I'm just doing nothing but recalculating over and over and over. That's all I want to do in games. I just want to do math for hours. So that gets me excited right there. And the fact that John liked it, this is great. Now I can play with John. The fact that it's Andy's one of his favorite games, that's kind of the reason I was actually, maybe this game isn't a good game. No. But yeah, no, again, it's just, I've played it, but it's been a long time. But I just didn't resonate with me. But it's, again, after all these years, still number 23. That's pretty impressive. So I just need to give this another try, and I actually am starting to feel more and more confident it's going to be Brass and Great Western Trail for me. That eventually I just had to see the Matrix, and once I did, I loved it. Another one I just recently saw the Matrix on and really enjoyed was Viticulture. First couple plays for me, I wasn't a huge fan on. I think the first one I played, I think, was actually before the Essential Edition, and that is actually just not great. And so I think it kind of soured me my second play, and then I played that third play recently, and I was like, wow, okay, this is great now. So, but yeah, so on Concordia, I'm excited. I want to play it. I'm kind of unsure. I'll make sure everyone knows what my thoughts were once I do play it again.
Well, Chris, what I don't understand that Daniel was saying especially was how, everybody's
doing
no, not just that, but everybody's doing the same thing, as if you can't control what you're doing. You have this whole hand of cards. Everybody else is playing A. I guess I have to play A. Everybody else playing A. I don't get that. You can go on the land. You can go on the sea. You can get, money. You can do whatever. There's all the different things you can do in your hand. Why are you doing the same thing everybody else is doing? That's what I don't get.
Yeah, but it's not. It's because you need to plant your buildings first. So that's the first.
There's a lot of different places to do it on the rondel.
So everyone's doing it, but then you're like, the first player goes where they want is the best spot. The last player goes to what's left over, and then you're like, okay, great. There's these cards out here that I really want, but I need to get my buildings down before I start getting cards. Oh, what? The first player already started to build buildings. That means he's going to get that card as well. It feels like there's always this best move to do, and the person in front of you is always getting to do it, and you never do.
I guess I did get that feel, because it seemed to me like, while some of the buildings are worth more, like the merchandise you get there is worth more, you always need bricks, and they're worth the least, but you need them to build anything. So I went heavy on bricks and won the game one time, even though that's like the po' boys way to go. But I think there's different ways to go.
Sorry, and while it fell flat for me, like maybe I didn't remember having that problem like you did, Daniel, because I am so like that's my go-to, right? If everyone's zigging, I'm gonna zag, right? Like,
Yeah,
oh, it
it's a game
seems
you
like
have to
this is the
pivot.
thing, and I'm third in position of the 5 or whatever, and the first 2 have already done this other thing. Like maybe I'll still do that thing, but if I'm fourth and 1 through 3 did A, I'm definitely doing B. Like I know I got to do B at some point. I'm gonna take first and B, and then what's the difference in fourth or fifth and A? Whatever. I'll take first and A and get fifth and B, right. So sometimes you just got to do that. So.
Yeah.
There's one more thing we have to talk about this game before we let it to rest. This game is listed as a 5-player game. What nonsense is this? And of all the Euros I know that are played at 5 players, this is the one that is played at 5 players. For some reason, people keep on trying to play it at the highest player count. It's a worst possible experience, and it is leaving a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth just because of that. A game that would be so good at 3 and 4 is being squandered because people are squeezing that 5th player in.
Oh, maybe that's the problem.
Yeah. I think Tom Vassell had this rule about always playing with one less person that's on the box. Like that should always be your like target number for a good game. It
Euros
like
at 3. That's the way to go.
Have some fun with Final Girl there. Board game.
That's
right. All right, guys. Well, that's our take on Concordia. What do you guys think? Does it hold up to the standards that we have today as modern gamers? Or is this a timeless classic that will never age and will only get better like fine wine? So I hear. I don't drink wine. But let us know and subscribe. Leave comments down below. Like us. Do all that stuff. And now we're ready for round 2. Fight!
All right, so here in round 2, honestly, this can be more apropos for me to be leading this charge on this one because we're going to talk about Board Game Blunders. And when I say more apropos, I mean the exact opposite because when the Lord made me, he broke the mold, and I am perfect. I have never made any errors. I have never made any blunders. Obviously, that is a bit hyperbolic, but I will say that I actually thought about this for a really long time, and I can't think of a time that like it just all came apart for me when I tried to like run a game or teach a game, and it just fell apart. I did remember there was one time a couple years ago at a Thanksgiving or Christmas, I was trying to like slowly rope my family into playing board games and stuff like that, and I pulled out No Thanks. And I forgot to take the cards out. So we played with all of them. And so like my dad just like took almost all of them. So it made the game not very interesting at all. So like that was really the best one I could think of. I really thought hard, and like again, it sounds like obviously making a joke about grandstanding about how great I am, but I can't really remember anything that really went wrong other than that one. That was the one that just it all fell apart. That's all I can really remember.
Yeah, were they able to like? Did you play it correctly later with them, or were they just done with the game after that?
Oh no, and that's the thing. They weren't done with it. The table still really enjoyed the game. It wasn't until I got home that I realized I was like, I was like, I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't figure it out. And so I got home, I was like, I'm supposed to take some of the cards out. But yeah, no, they had a good time. I mean, maybe because it was kind of easy mode, so to speak. But everyone had a good time. Yeah.
I got a suggestion for you, Chris. Next time, bring the mind and don't shuffle the cards. Just have them in complete numerical order. And we won! How about that?
We did it.
Actually, that's going to be really hard because if you don't know you did that, you're always going to be like, did I pick the 2? You know, I have the 2 or I have the 4.
Because they're this close.
Surely
all the
no
cards.
one has the 3.
Yeah. It was fun. All right, well, what do you got, Topher? What happened to you?
So I am actually in the exact opposite. I'm a flawed man. Have you ever had a huge lead and someone catches up on you? That is my life story. I'm always, I sprint out, do everything efficiently, get like super zoned in on exactly what the strategy is. I'm killing it. And then at the end, everyone just somehow magically catches up. I don't block someone or let someone or I just stray from the plan just a little bit. It's happened so much that back home, they would call it pulling a Topher.
Oh no.
You had the victory. It's a short, everyone know you won. And then somehow they didn't win and everyone's really confused. That's pulling a Topher.
Grasp the defeat from the jaws of victory. That sucks.
Now, Topher, I have to ask you about this though, but you are a facilitator of board games. You often try to pull people into your circle and teach them games. Do you think you're self-sabotaging because you're terrified that people will dislike the game if you win.
So there
Daniel's
are
saying that because that's what he does.
I generally
Supposedly.
but I wonder if I'm secretly my own traitor and I do it without even me knowing. There are times where I'm consciously I'm like, I'm gonna deliberately slow play this and let the game last another 2-3 turns than it should, because just give people a chance to feel like they're in the game.
I like this guy.
Yeah. That's generally my way I do it when I'm doing the facilitating stuff.
Yeah. See, Topher, you're reinforcing my strategy, which is rush to the end.
Just
everybody off guard
as soon as possible.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, my board game blunder is pretty universally known amongst my friends and peers because it's one I have to share often. Several years ago, this really amazing game, and it took the world by storm, changed the board game hobby as we know it, came out, called Gloomhaven. Oh. And while I was not on the first road of backers, I was able to set back the second game. So by this point, there was enough talk about Gloomhaven out there that I knew it was a really challenging game. It was really hefty. But I could take up the challenge. I could read this book and I could teach my wife and I how to play this game. So we sat down and we played this game together. And guys, this was the hardest game I have ever played. So hard that my wife would often say, I feel stupid when I play this game. Like, are you sure it's this hard? And I'm like, no, it does. So I started watching strategy videos. I started watching gameplays just to try to pick up little tidbits here. And I'm like, oh, I see. You're supposed to rush up on the archer and pin them to the corner so they have disadvantage. That's the secret. So we'd play it. After 3 attempts, we finally beat the first scenario. Then we played the second scenario. And after 3 attempts, we finally beat it. Well, the third scenario, my wife was like, I'm done. I'm out of this game. I don't want it anymore. I'm never going to play it again. I go, okay, well, Sarah, listen. Randy and his wife, they play it all the time together and they don't have this issue. Let him come over and teach us how to play. Show us what we're doing wrong. And give it one more shot. She goes, okay, I'll give it one more shot. So Randy comes over. I have it all set out. And he immediately goes, is this how you have the game set up? And I go, yeah. He goes, okay. The villain cards. See this number right here? It says 5. You guys are on level 1. And I go, oh. So these go up to level 7. Okay. We're level 1. We should have been playing on 0. So, yeah,
oh
we're playing on hard mode the entire time. But come on, you got to defend me here.
Wow.
So if you never seen this before, you're going to look at this card and you want it to be right side up, correct? So you don't look at the numbers. You just make sure it's right side up. I didn't know there were 2 different numbers on there. So.
I do admit it's a flawed, terrible game, and that a good game would not allow you to make that mistake.
I would admit that. I would admit that as well. I will also admit that I pulled a Topher twice on Friday night. So,
nice. I will also say, like, when he started talking, I was like, what story is he going to tell? There's so many.
Yeah.
But then also, I was just like, he kept talking about Gloomhaven. What do you do with Gloomhaven? And then it like hit me.
Exactly.
Like, oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But, Chris, you're right. People might have think that he was razzing me there saying he had so many. I really do. I am the worst rules teacher ever. I often teach a game partially wrong every time I teach it. So if you find me in person and want to play a game with me, I'll teach you it wrong.
But it's going to be an interesting, memorable time. That's for sure.
Right. That's right.
At least you'll teach it.
Exactly. At least there's that.
All right. Many of you are familiar with Storytime with Chris, but in order for me to give you the correct background information for my blunder, we need to have story time with John this time. So I'm going to take you back to the 80s. All right, back before some of these jokers were born. And I acquired this game called Landslide, which actually came out in 1974. Not a particularly good game, made by Parker Brothers. It's about a presidential election. You garner popular votes, which you use as cash basically in your auction off the states for their electoral votes, which is how you win the game. Have the most electoral votes at the end of the game after all the states come out. Well, we started playing this and I created my own legacy game back in the 80s. I said, I'm going to start keeping track of who wins this, how many votes they get, all that, what region they're from, all this good stuff. And I realized we're playing this about once a year. We're going to make a thing where we play every November. It's going to be our election. We're going to play an election game. We're going to keep track. So we started doing that. And so it became kind of a big deal. We added more to it. We now have campaigns, all this stuff not part of the game. We make posters, we have speeches, we write stuff, we do all this stuff. And my brother, just to let you know, he even made a commercial one year, which we're going to play right now. So as you can see, this is a big deal in my family. Winning this every year is a huge deal. One person has won 10 times over the years. That would be me. One person has won a record 4 times in a row. That would be me. And so there's been a lot of pressure to beat me. And so last year, this was it. All 3 people against 1. Everybody's trying to beat me. And the way this game works is you pull states out and you auction them off. Usually one person knows what it is. But I knew I was winning, or I knew I had a chance to win. I wanted to end the game. And so I went to this thing called secret ballot, which is where you put 4 states out. Nobody knows what they are. You don't turn them over and you auction them off. There was only 4 states left. So this was going to end the game. I have a card that allows me to gamble any one of my states versus a state that's worth less. So I okay, I'm going to win this. I know I have the most votes. I'm going to gamble Texas against New Jersey. I'm going to win. If I win New Jersey, I win the game. Boom. We knew even if I won the 4 states, I wasn't going to win. That wasn't enough. Anyway, I win the 4 states. Awesome. Okay, I get this card. I'm going to gamble the state. Boom, I win. Sweet, I win the game. Then some person goes, there's like 5 rules in this game, okay? It's written on the inside of the box. This is the way they used to do this stuff. Then somebody says, isn't the game over when the last state gets auctioned off? And as soon as they said it, I'm like, oh man, my desire for the drama of I'm going to get, because if I lose this gambling the state, the auction means nothing. I wanted to win the auction and then and the game is over before I play my card technically. So, oh my gosh. So it's like, of course, we have to put this all, I have to, trump it up like I'm, hey, what is all this? What is all this shenanigans? And so, but then I finally concede. Graciously, I might add, and then the winner gets to write it in the public record for the thing. No mention of my gracious, going into of accepting the rules. Oh, it's so that was my biggest board game blunder. That's because I have to live with that now. I could have had 5 wins in a row, and could have been king for life, basically. But there you go.
Tophered.
It was a bad game, but there's
Tophered.
I tophered it. There you go.
All right, guys. Well, what games have you tophered? Tell us in the comments. Tell us by what margin, and we'll have a good laugh. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Cool. And hey, we'll pause now for a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
All right, guys. Well, we are ready for round 3. Fight.
All right, round 3 comes to me with our topical discussion, and this time it is good game, bad group. What's the deal? Are you not enjoying the game because it's a bad group? Is it a good game and the group is just ruining it? Should you even try? If you think a game isn't going to even work in that group, should you even try? Well, you can take it from any way you want on that. And for me, the way I'm taking this is I'm going to harken back to our Concordia discussion, because I don't know how many times I had been at a game group or something and there's all this new hotness laying out. You know what I'm saying? And somebody comes up, inevitable, somebody comes up and they're like, why don't we just play Concordia? And I'm like, are you kidding me? How about something from this century? Why don't we play a good game, like this really cool game with all the little pieces? And so if somebody hadn't pressured me into playing it, I was considered a bad group for that game. But then I ended up, and actually it was a friend of ours, Matt, good story this, Matt Saunders, famous game designer, actually came to me. He's like, I've got a gift card to buy a game and I'm really thinking about getting Concordia. And I'm just biting my tongue. I'm like, wow, that's the last thing I would get from the board game store. Okay, it's Chris knows my penchant for the big ugly boxes that don't fit on your shelf for one.
And they are that size. They are it is Concordia is that Power Grid says
everything about that box is obnoxious.
I was just waiting for you to bring that up in the segment. I was like,
I was waiting until now. Yes, the box is horrendous. It looks terrible. It's huge. It's awkward. You can't put it anywhere. You want to put that box in the trash. But if I hadn't been forced, I mean, he comes over as a guest to my house. He loves this game. He wants to play it. Of course, I'm going to play it. We might even played it 5 players, Topher. I don't remember. Ooh. But then we played it and I loved it. And I'm like, thank you for bringing this game. I needed to play it just to educate myself, and I ended up liking it. And another game that I'll mention, like in the opposite way, I've got a family game group that I play with a lot. So it's usually the midweight-ish kind of games. They like Dust in the Wings, a real popular game. No, but it's, Mancala style. It's very light. But then I picked up Jerusalem at Gen Con, or a little before Gen Con, and I just plopped it out on the table. Said, hey, let's play Jerusalem. Everyone loved it. Everyone in the game room loved it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, at least I'll get a play out of it and I'll learn how to teach it. And they loved it. So I say, don't judge your game group so harshly. Try a game with them. See what happens. But obviously, a bad group can ruin a good game, just like happened as Daniel was talking about that first play of Bad Company. Nothing wrong with Bad Company. That group stunk. But that's what I got. What do you got, Chris?
I mean, I was with you till the very end there. That game's just bad. Bad Company is just a bad game. It should be called Bad Game. That way everyone knew that. But,
well, Bad Game, good company.
That's right. Okay, so I'm going to take it from the direction of the idea that people keep talking about, well, this game is very group dependent. Okay, now that I have no problem with that statement. What I have a problem with is that's a negative. I have a problem with that is like viewed as a potential problem with the game. The game is not done, it is not made correctly because it's group dependent. Every game's group dependent. If I showed up with 18XX to John's family group, it ain't gonna work. It's a fantastic game. That's not the game's fault. That's group dependent. Everything's group dependent if the people are going to like it or not or play it. So the idea that there's these games like Sodero Confluence that requires people to be interactive and not be passive. I'm trying to think some other ones, but like, you know what I'm talking about. There's so many games people are like, I liked it, but it's very group dependent and it's just, it's not for me, right? Okay,
they never say Euro's group dependent. It's always some party fun game. It's never Euro.
yeah. Also party games exactly have that same problem, that's where I'm taking. It's like that you have a bad, and even then, I won't even say you have a bad group just because they don't like 18XX. But it is what it is. Like, you have to know your group. Some people are going to be able to deal with that group dependency, and some people won't. And you just have to go with it. So I think the idea in classifying games and bringing it up and having it as an earmark, like, hey, this game is group dependent for these reasons, is important to people know so they don't buy a game that's not going to work for them. But the idea that like innately it's a flaw and the game is not good because it's group dependent, that's hogwash, and we need to get over that in our community.
Yeah, I actually can see your point there, is that you can say group dependent. Like, if anybody's AP, don't play with this game. They might like it. Doesn't mean they won't like it, but oh my word. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Daniel, waiting for something for you because you're the one that started this conversation with me a while back.
Oh, honestly, I'm slightly distracted. My son just walked in and he's giving me the weirdest look ever.
Gotcha.
It's called love, Daniel. I know it's hard for you to be familiar.
Well, no, sorry. So yeah, no, group dependency. Yeah, no, I agree with you, but so I'm not going to respond yet because that might go into what I'm going to be talking about.
Okay, that's fine then.
Because games. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. What you got, Topher?
I'm going to get on my soapbox real hard here. So,
all right.
Games are only good in the context of the table they're being played. The game has to line up. There's this whole idea that this game is some universal pillar.
Right.
Anything in that board game top 100, the vast majority of people playing board games, that is a terrible game for. Even though it's a great game, it's a terrible game for the majority of people who play board games in the hobby and such. So the best game is always the one that is perfect for the table right now. Think of that always. When you're picking a game, it's not about what's good. It's what's good for the people there. And then the other thing I'll throw on top of that is we also buy games with this delusion that this game is somehow going to fix my problem. We keep on buying games to be the kind of person I want to play, the people how I see myself as being this kind of gamer. So this is a game I'm going to buy. I'm going to get a table. It's going to fix everything. I'll find a group all of a sudden. It's like, no, focus on buying games that your group would like, not what games you want them to like. All right, soapbox over.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I agree.
You're like, I'm going to get on my soapbox. That's the whole point of the show.
I agree, except I do think you need to stretch your groups a little bit. If it's a regular group, there's nothing wrong with stretching.
Oh, 100% agree with you, John. Like, it's your job to have different groups and not try to force things that don't work organically in that group.
That's true.
Yeah. So Chris was right earlier. This was my idea for this segment, and I had one game in mind specifically. Well, a couple games. So one of my favorite games of all time is Marvel Legendary, and I think it is a phenomenal game. But I'm gonna tell you what, guys. Every time I bust this game out, it's always met with a meh reaction. To the point now where I'm so angry to play this game with other people that I refuse to actually bring it to my game nights at all. Not only because it weighs 500 pounds because there's so many expansions, but because every time I play it, something bad always happens.
Oh no.
And when you have enough of those scenarios, I think it starts dwindling the game. You start seeing flaws in the game. You start seeing the little mistakes or why people aren't enjoying it. And all of a sudden you're reflecting on it going, oh man, maybe that is a bad game. And it makes you question your own opinions on games. And you know what? Yes, a bad game group can ruin a good game for you. Just period. It happens. It happens all the time. And I want to use another example of this happening too. I think it's called Five Finger Death Punch or something like that. I think that's a band. So it's not quite that, but it's close. I was trying to find it, but anyways, it's this game where you look at your card and you're playing against another person. It's from Level 99 Games, and you're playing this card and it's almost like rock paper scissors, but you're just playing this card real quick and you compare abilities and then you win. Yeah, challengers, but you have more agency.
What?
I was having a lot of fun with this game. Until one of our friends, literally at the very end of the game, we go, hey, her name was Lindsay. I was like, hey, Lindsay, you can look. Did you look at that card? She goes, no, I didn't think we were allowed to. She won the game with never looking at a single card. She literally played Challengers before Challengers was cool, and she beat me.
God.
I go, I used to like this game. Now I'm with this game.
Oh, that's too funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that is right. I never heard that story. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I think it's kind of funny that Daniel has found out that the bad group for Marvel Legendary is virtually any gamer that you can find.
I know, right? And which tells me what kind of gamers I'm surrounded by. You guys need to get better. There's nothing wrong with Marvel Legendary.
Well, that's what we think about the old good game, bad group. What do you think? Do you think you should push games onto a group that they might or might not like to play them, or how do you handle that? Do you just buffalo in there with your game and say this is what we're going to get played? We all know people that do that as well. But let us know. Yeah, there you go. Let us know in the topics down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right, round 4, fight. That was me doing that. Neck break.
Thank you.
Okay, I liked it.
You're welcome.
Go. Whiteboard Andy now.
All right, everybody, do you got your whiteboards ready? Because we are going to be introducing a brand new segment to Around the Board. It's called Board Game Karens. That's right. What I did is I did into the deep dives of the bowels of Board Game Geek, and I looked at their one ratings of all the popular games that we have reviewed on this show. And I tell you what, there's a lot of Karens out there who are very hairy, muscular, probably out of shape guys.
Wow.
That are named Karen. All of them named Karen. It's crazy. So let me explain how this is going to work. I'm going to read 3 quotes that I found off of Board Game Geek, and they were all voted was 1 ratings. Everybody, I'm going to read 1 to begin with, and then the 3 of you will try to guess what game it is. It's going to be challenging on that one. I promise you. If you guess
Challengers,
that's right. If you guess it, congratulations. But if you guess it right, you'll get 3 points. But then we'll read another question, and then you guys will all get to guess again. And everybody who gets it right will get 2 points. But if nobody still has got it right, we'll read the 3rd one. And if you get it right at that point, we'll give you 1 point. And then I will get a point for every person who didn't get it right. So I think it will even out. So we'll
Gotcha.
find out. This is a trial run to see how the points work, but whatever.
That's why this segment's going last.
That's right. So that I know what I need to do to win the game. So I'm gonna change how difficult everything is.
Yes, exactly.
Fine. All right. So are you guys ready for this?
Ready.
Right.
Your first quote is from Michael Flug. Yeah, from Board Game Geek. He says, I came here because all the people rating games like Kingdom Death Monster or Hate with a 1, just because of their mature theme, I'm offended by how boring the theme of this game is.
Ooh.
I give it a 1.
Hmm.
So what game could that be? Okay. So simultaneously, let's we'll go around the board. You guys tell us.
Oh, there you go. It's the name of the show.
John, what'd you pick?
I have Blood Rage.
Blood Rage. Blood Rage is not the answer.
Ah.
All right, Chris.
Anyway, so I was writing down, I was like, I can't think of the name of that game. I'm just going to write Alice in Wonder. Oh, that's Wonderland's War.
Wonderland's War. No.
Wonderland's War.
Was not that. Sorry.
Topher,
what do you
boring
have?
theme, that's for sure.
I have no idea. I'm just putting the most boring game there is. Brad.
Oh, boo! Boo!
Wow.
All right. So no 3 points for anybody. Sorry.
Okay.
So let's go see if you guys can earn yourself 2 points.
Okay.
So the second clue is this: clever mechanisms, but the game itself is completely themeless, dry, and totally uninteresting. I really don't see the point of designing or playing this sort of game. All right. What do we got, John?
I'm in there.
Actually, let's start with Topher. I'm gonna start with Topher
Okay.
because these are guests.
Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven. I'm offended and appalled, sir. That's what you would guess. That is not correct. All right, John.
That can only apply to Connect 4.
Connect 4.
No?
No, not Connect 4. Sorry.
Dang, it has to be on the list.
All right, I went with Castles of Burgundy.
Ooh, that's not the correct answer. Okay. I will admit, guys, that one was a little challenging. I probably should have altered that. I didn't give you any additional clues, but this one, I think you guys will get it. I think you guys will get it. Okay. There are so many great worker placement games, so many great bidding games, so many great town building games. Why in the heck would anyone play this piece of trash? Everything this game does, there are other games that do it significantly better.
You said there was the last one, town building games?
Town building. That's right. Great worker placement, great bidding games, great town building games. And that was by Lynn Fox. Thank you, Lynn Fox.
Thanks, Lynn.
I think I completely agree with Lynn Fox, and I'm going to reach out to him and be friends with him because I think...
You think you know what it is?
I think it's a game I really despise.
Okay.
Really?
Yep.
I think Chris might be right. So let's start with John again.
Abomination. I know you don't build a town, but you build townsfolk.
Oh, okay.
You build townsfolk.
Couldn't think of any game that you build a town in. That was like the giveaway. No, John, you're inaccurate.
Sorry.
That's okay. Topher, what about you? I'm skipping.
What?
Go with Scythe.
Scythe. That was a good guess, but unfortunately not this
good enough.
time. Chris, I think you got it. What is it?
The answer is Keyflower.
Keyflower it is. That's right. Can I just reiterate the first one? I came here because people rating Kingdom Death Monsters a 1 because of the mature theme. I'm offended by this theme.
Gosh.
I love it. Who does that? Who goes and gives a 1 to a random game? And you know what's crazy about that, guys? This guy, he posts that comment on almost every game I looked at.
Oh, for real?
Wow.
Gives everybody a 1 and puts that. That's some hate rating right there. Wow.
Oh man, he's swimming hit raid.
That's right. All right. So I will admit that one was.
I think Daniel got like 19 points there, but
no, I got.
But Chris
2.
got 1. Good job, buddy.
That's right. I will say that was a little more challenging than I thought it would be. So I do apologize. But this next one, I think you guys got it. Okay.
All right.
This is the second game. All right. It's just an awful read the idiot's mind game. It's just an awful read the idiot's mind game. And this is from Don Brown.
Don Brown's body lies a smoldering in its grave. Isn't that a song?
It's a
I
threat.
never heard of that.
It's actually John Brown.
All right. So, Chris, what do you got?
Ready for me?
Ready for you.
All right. We got with extra art attached on brand Hanabi.
Hanabi. I don't think we've ever talked about Hanabi,
I don't
sir.
think so.
Well, I wasn't metagaming. I just went with what I thought. I wasn't going like, oh, what game have we reviewed? So
That's the first clue. All
I
right,
understand.
Topher. What do you got?
Go with the game.
The game.
The game.
No, but what
I
game?
like
Topher?
that. I like that
What
meta.
game? No, it is not the game. All right, John, what do
It
you
is
have?
true. It is the
Is
game.
it the mind?
The mind. You guys are getting close, but it is not quite that.
I
I
actually
was
meant
going to say the
earlier.
mind, but you
Wow.
specifically said mine in the comment. I'm like, it can't
That's
be.
that's why I thought he might have said it was easy. So
Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Question 2. Worst game ever. Just like Battleship, but with words. Except the original Battleship is more fun. In fact, this is more like Battleship the movie. Edward Teach. So it's Battleship
Random
with,
dunk on the movie. That's fantastic.
so it's
I
a
got this
Battleship with
one.
words.
I got you.
You think you got it now?
With words.
I got it.
Oh,
Oh, uh-oh.
oh,
They all seem confident.
I don't. I'm like looking at my shelves. What have we talked about?
Did we talk about games?
Exactly. Okay, this isn't it, but it's the closest thing I can think of.
All right. Well, let's start with John since he's the
Okay.
most unsure.
Paperback.
Paperback. That is inaccurate, sir. And again,
knew
I
it.
don't think we talked about that on the show.
I don't think so, but now
This
we
is a
have.
real test to see if they actually know what we've been doing for the past year. All right. Chris, what do you have?
I got Gutenberg along with along with its counting matrix. 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 for 3, 4 for. What's 5 for
awesome.
5? I need
We
to
don't
look up
know.
the rules.
I don't
We
know.
don't
It's not
know.
on the Matrix. No,
That's
unfortunately, Chris, that was not correct.
Oh, dang it!
When do you read people's minds in Gutenberg?
I don't know when you
Because
you
you're
just start-
bidding at the
I
beginning.
was just trying to think of a game we played that had to do with words. I was like, what? I don't even know about that one.
You have to bid
All
for
right.
agency in it.
Topher?
It's code names, man.
It's
gotta be code
names.
names.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's fair.
All right. So
Topher gets
Topher is
8
going to get
points.
2 points.
Oh,
And I will also get 2 points. Man, this game is great for me.
it is.
Yeah.
Glad I
Who
taught
saw
it.
that coming?
I know.
Nobody. Okay. So let me read the last one rating for Codenames. A lot of gamer people I play with metagame this by watching people's eyes moving rather than trying to figure out from the clue given. It is not against the rules, but it sours the experience, in my
This is
opinion.
cheating.
Yeah, it would.
Nathan, 1. So he gave it a 1 because other people
Because
cheat.
people cheat. There you
Because
go.
it's a
Yeah,
bad
right.
game group, not a bad
Yeah,
game.
there you go.
And it ruined it for him.
Good
I
point.
should have started with my argument there.
You
All right,
should've.
guys. We got the last game. You guys
Okay.
ready for this
Right.
one? All right. I will tell you this. I sent this one to one of our friends. I won't say who. And that friend got
I
it
text
right
him.
after the first question. So
Ooh.
here's your chance. All right. Most boring game I have ever played. And even though some call it a deck builder, it's definitely not a deck builder. And this is from CoX10. CoX10, thank you. You are angry that people call it a deck builder. So you
I
gave
Got
it
the
a-
answer.
I got it. I got this one now.
All right, we're gonna start with Topher since he seems the least certain.
I'm still writing.
Oh, okay, never mind. We're not gonna start with
He's
Topher.
that uncertain.
No, I got a good guess. I'm gonna say Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Ooh, okay. Yep.
Lost Ruins of Arnak. I honestly, it was a twist. That's what I thought people would guess, but that is not what this game is.
Yep.
Sorry. All right, John, what about you?
I didn't guess that. I just guessed Arnak for the
Arnak.
Yeah. for the-
Arnak is
the
also
point there.
wrong. It's not Lost Ruins of Arnak or Arnak. And Chris, what do you have?
So Daniel is a liar because that is actually my username on PGG because it is Arnak.
Oh
It's
yeah!
the worst
I think the
deck
three of us
builder
are
of
voting
all
it.
time.
Yeah.
I think Dan needs to lose a point for that. If
It
all
ain't
three
a
of us
deck
think
builder.
Arnak.
If we all match, we should get something.
Fine.
That's right.
Yeah. You guys all match. Oh, that's a good. Let's do that.
If we all
I
match,
lose a point, they all get a point.
No, if we all match, Topher gets 8 points.
There it is.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Again, our friend got it after one guess. So, okay,
No.
let me
Okay.
next one
You
here.
are-
Fantastic game. Fantastic. Rated 1. Fantastic game. Second edition is better, and I hate that first and second editions both have a separate rating in Board Game Geek. So, first edition gets a 1. So that's Matt Fredis.
Thought I knew what it was.
So they rated it a 1 because
That's
they don't like how BGG has a different entry for each one.
That's right. That'll show them.
Fantastic. That is
That'll
sticking
show
it
that.
to the man. Who was that from? Who was that from?
Matt Freitas.
Matt Freitas. If I ever see you at Gen Con, hit me up. I want to shake your hand. I like that. What do we got?
I like how we're talking like these people are actually going to watch the show.
Correct.
Okay, I think I have it.
All right, John. What do you? Well, I still see some questioning looks.
Yeah,
No, I was like, I have a decent guess. I don't know if I got it.
Okay.
Can you read it again quickly? Oh no, that's right. It doesn't even matter because he just like loves the game, but then it's first and second and it's split.
The clue is that some people call it a deck builder, but it's not. And the other one is that the second edition is better than the first. So it deserves a 1.
Separate because of it. I don't know. I'm gonna go with this. It's not right.
Same.
You guys are worse at this game than I thought. Topher gets a pass because
I'm about way I thought I would be at this game.
Right.
I'm generally not the greatest at this kind of thing.
Well, you know, you haven't actually talked about these games like we have. These guys should just know. You just know.
Because like Daniel, we just watched the old episodes over and over.
I think I know what it is now.
We got to get our numbers up.
I was right that day.
I think I know what it is now.
Okay. All right. Chris, we're going to start with you.
All right. It is Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven.
Terrible deck builder.
It's a rondelle, Chris.
It's a rondelle.
I apologize. You're correct.
You deserve to lose points on that.
What do you
All right, Topher, what about you?
I'm going to say Through the Ages.
Through the Ages. That's a good guess, but nope. Sorry.
Nope. We got it right here, baby.
All right. What is it, John? Tell us the right answer.
Great Western Trail.
John got it.
Oh,
Two
Great
points
Western
for
Trail has
John.
2 different entries?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Were they
Argentina,
trying to
they're going to
distance-
say.
Were they
They
trying to
did.
distance
I-
themselves
that's-
from like the
that's-
Indian thing? Was that
Yeah,
it?
it doesn't really change that much, does it?
I don't know.
I just sorry. I know you don't have the answers, Daniel. You never do. But I just figured I would elaborate here because that's so surprising to me that there's 2 different entries. That's really surprising. Huh.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, I
surprising.
don't know.
But
That's how you hack the BGG ratings, man. You just re-release a game and only people like the first one play it.
That's right.
That's right. Oh, that's good. Are you going to do that with your new game, Topher?
You know it. We're going to re-release it in a year after it's released.
That's right. That's how you make money. All right. Well, let me read the last one. And that is too long, complicated, and repetitive. Experienced players dominate. Only like the cards. Reminds me somehow of Monopoly. Not for me. Will not play again.
I guess because you land on other people, a little bit like Monopoly. I can see that, I guess.
Yeah.
And on other people.
that's
What are you playing?
Other people's buildings, not other people.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't pulling a Daniel.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that was our trial run at Board Game Karens. Let us know what you think of this. Should you want to see it again? Do you think the questions were too hard? Should I make them easier?
Yes.
I probably should make them easier because these guys, they just aren't that with it. But that's okay. So guys,
I demand to see the manager of these rules.
That's me. You're talking to him right here. Okay. So all right. Well, that's it, guys. That ends the show. So let's take the look at the points here. Looks like Chris way at the bottom at 10 points. John just a little bit better at 11. And even though we try to skew the game for our hosts or for our guests, unfortunately, Topher only got 12. But I got 16. What?
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, no
That's a
idea.
mystery.
No idea.
But it's okay, guys. I will humble myself and I will gladly give the floor to my guest, our honored friend, Topher. Take 2 minutes to talk about whatever you want, my friend.
Okay. I'm going to set the mood. We're going to have to story time again.
Yeah. baby.
I know this is a phrase you've all heard before. Why do we play games? We play to win, right?
That's right.
I always hear Herm Edwards saying it over, but that's wrong. It could not be more wrong. You play to play again. The goal is for you to play more games. And you got to do that by being the best player you could be at the table. And that means the goal is to get invited back the next day, not crush people. The people that you're playing games with regularly and always inviting to your table are the ones you enjoy playing with, are not the people who win. The people who win are never on the top tier of, I'm going to make sure I invite them over. So do your best to be a great board game citizen. That's the way you play more games.
Very good.
I love it, Topher.
I like it. Yeah.
I like that.
What I always tell people is that, like, you know, when we're playing games, is like, I don't care if I win or lose or how it goes. Like, I'm just trying to do something with my hands while I hang out with my friends. Like,
also, wait. Take quick turns. Everyone wants to play people take quick turns.
That's right.
You know, so for this whole show, I was like, oh man, I got a new appreciation for this guy. Like he's like, you know, talking about, hey, you don't have to buy. Basically, in many ways, you're like, hey, you don't have to buy the new hottest game. Just play the game you know is going to work with your friends, and you already have this one. But you don't need to buy a new game. I was like, and then you were like, you know what? I'm going to ruin it for Chris and telling him just take really quick turns, because that's all Daniel does.
You know,
I Tophered it at the very end. I ruined
it. You know what?
Tophered it.
But at least, Topher, you don't do the Daniel, because the Daniel is you take the quick turns, and then 3 turns later, you're like, oh, wait, guys. No. Actually, I should have done this thing. Let me go back.
Makes the game go faster. What can I say? Also, I think Topher finally revealed why people don't invite me to game nights, because I'm a winner.
Oh, my. Here we go.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Topher, for showing up. Before we go, we got one last thing to do. We didn't tell Topher about these, but these are our birthdays. Topher, can you talk about Caverna? Do you play Caverna at all?
I do not play Caverna, but I do like that they improved the curricula.
There we go.
They proved it by having an even worse cover.
That's right. So Caverna is 10 years old this year. Came out in 2013. And I do think it's an improved Agricola. I love this game.
Can't be worse.
It can't be worse. That's right. But I want to say happy birthday to Robot Turtles. That came out in 2013 as well, 10 years old. You might be thinking about, what is Robot Turtles? Well, it's this little cute programming games for kids. It's a really revolutionary game. It ended up in Target. It was all over the media. You might have seen it. I don't know, but it was this really cute game that gamified programming. And it was pretty special to me and my family. So that's why it's on this list. You may never heard of it, but you might see it at Target.
I've actually seen it since you mentioned it, because it was going to be on this show. I was like, it's that game Daniel was talking about. I'd never noticed it before. But the one I'm going to talk about is came out in 2018. It's 5 years old. Is Architects of the West Kingdom, which I really enjoyed it. My plays of it. I don't own it. I'm really surprised I don't own any of the ones in this series. So every one of them I played, I've liked. I think Paladins is my favorite, but Architects was really good too. I have no problem with Paladins or Architects. I'd play that in a heartbeat. But Architects, 5 years old today.
Hey, and what we got that's 6 years old today is the OG Azul, which is really crazy because I feel like Architects of the West Kingdom is a lot younger than Azul.
Yeah,
but
same.
It's actually just 1 year younger. So happy 6th birthday, Azul. I love you.
Azul is actually, it feels timeless. Usually I go, wow, amazing. It's only been 4 years. Azul, I'm like, isn't it been out for 20?
Right.
It's a staple. It's got a foothold. That's one of the most played games at all our meetups. It just always goes over well.
There you go. That's good. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for us today. Thanks for all of our wonderful viewers out there. Remember to tap those like and subscribe buttons. Also, be sure to join our Facebook group, Around the Board. Send us an email to mail@aroundtheboard.net or reach out to us on Twitter, TikTok, or Rumble. Until next time, we'll see you around the board.
What is Rumble? Is that like, did they like rename TikTok Rumble like they did Twitter or X or whatever?
It's a dating site. It's a board game dating site.
Is it the new Farmers Only? Because I missed that. I missed that. I miss Farmers Only.
Why would you print this like this? Two-sided. The one needs to be bigger, guys. The one needs to be bigger.